Hi, I'm Rob Latter. I'm the captain of the Royal Flight 318 down to West Palm Beach and then Fort Myers. We'll be in aircraft November Alpha Quebec. It is a 737-200 series. I'm with First Officer Dave Rennie, and we'll be flying at 35,000 feet and a flight time of 2 hours and 52 minutes to West Palm Beach. Okay, so here's our flight plan. Toronto to West Palm. NAQ, Mach 7.2. Our fuel burn en route will be 16,453 pounds. We have an alternate of Fort Lauderdale. And they've looks like they've given us some added fuel for, I guess, some en route weather they might anticipate due to the cold front running through the southern states.
V1, rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
We're heading 240 and reported oil.
The 737-200 series that we're on right now, registration Charlie Fox November Alpha Quebec, as Rob mentioned in the briefing portion, has an interesting history with regards to the registration that it currently carries. This aircraft was purchased by the delivery customer by the name of Nordair right off the Boeing assembly line in the early 1970s. And the reason they gave it the registration ending in Q was, at that time, the Queen of England was coming to Canada to tour the country, and Nordair was given the contract to carry her around during that flight. So as a result, they decided to give her a little bit of a tip of the hat for the aircraft she was carrying on, and they named the aircraft NAQ. So I suppose it's a little bit of dramatic irony or history that now the airplane is flying for Royal Airlines. The 737 has an interesting history as far as its early development years go. It was originally designed as a commuter aircraft to carry 86 passengers, which is funny because commuter jet aircraft have only come into historical significance in recent years, but that is what the aircraft was originally designed for. Lufthansa was the delivery customer, the only delivery customer off the production line. None of the American air carriers wanted it because it didn't carry enough passengers. It wasn't until Boeing had redesigned the aircraft to carry 100 passengers that United put in an order for it, hence the original series designation 737-100. Another interesting point is the other reason why a lot of the American air carriers almost couldn't get the 737 was the contracts that they had with their pilot unions dictated that the aircraft must have a three-man cockpit. And due to advancements in technology, Boeing had phased the flight engineer position out because most of the pressurization, electronic, and fuel control systems are automatic. It's interesting to note that United Airlines in particular operated the 737 up until 1981 with 3 pilots. What the third guy in the cockpit did, I have the foggiest idea, but he got to sit there and ride around for a couple of years till he could become a first officer. Once we get into the higher speed ranges and above about 25 to 26,000 feet, we start flying what we call Mach, which is a percentage of the speed of sound. And that's indicated by the smaller portion inside of the middle part of the airspeed indicator, which tells us our current speed right now is Mach 7.2, and our indicated airspeed in knots is 269 knots, if we want to get really exact.
We see the Toronto VOR here. After departure out of Toronto today from runway 06 right, we climbed out and made a right-hand turn, basically direct to Elwood City, which is this VOR here. From Elwood City, Actually, just prior to Elwood City, Air Traffic Control gave us a routing direct to Ormond Beach. And that routing basically took us just overhead Pittsburgh. And en route, we passed over this area here, Elkins VOR. Continuing down towards, we passed just to the east of Pulaski VOR. And to the east of Charlotte. And from Charlotte, then Columbia.
Try it that way. How's that?
Swamp 8,000. Thank you. Gear down, flaps 15, landing checklist to the flaps.
Check. Landing checklist, cabin attendants.
Advised.
Engine start switches.
On.
Recall.
Check.
Speed brake.
Arm green light.
Landing gear.
Down 3 green.
Flaps. Holding of flaps.
Autopilot's off, I'm hand flying.
Check. Glide slopes alive.
Check.
Disregard, missed approach altitude set.
Understood. Good landing.
knots.
That's what you call having the bottom fall out on you.
Wait till you see mine. As is customary in all turnarounds, we perform our external inspection before our next flight. So I get to enjoy a few minutes of the sunny weather down here in Fort Myers while I do my external inspection. We'll start that right now. Starting with the front portion of the aircraft, we'll always start with the pitot tubes and just observe and ensure that there's no damage to the exterior of the aircraft. Because this aircraft is equipped with a gravel equipment, that in other words, that is the skid and the vortex dissipators on the engines, we want to make sure that everything is intact here. Springs are all right, tire condition is good, oleo inflation is correct.
This aircraft, Fox November Alpha, Quebec, has a bit of a history of shooting movies. In August of 1997, myself and another First Officer, Pete Kudlowski, who is now captain at Royal, flew this aircraft in a movie called Medusa's Child. The movie was about a nuclear detonation device that was on the aircraft and had some actors on board and whatnot. And we did all the flying scenes for this movie in Abbotsford, British Columbia. The flying scenes were basically approaches to a runway, rocking the wings back and forth. We were supposed to be simulating the aircraft landing in a hurricane situation later, which they added on with computer effects. And a lot of runway shots up and down the runway escaping from US military guys. We'll be looking at doing the visual backed up on the ILS, 24 left, the Toronto Pearson. Approach flight date 27 August 97. MSA for us 3,100 feet. Touchdown zone elevation is 546. ILS frequency 1093, inbound track 237.